So I know you're loving it, and I'm loving it. And in my honest opinion, I think this is one of the biggest tracks of 2012 so far. Big message in the music. You can't go wrong with this one. We have to praise him all the time, you know, all the time. Welcome to the microphone, and this is a Step to the Mic session with your boy GW. Welcome to the microphone, the man himself, Mr. James Saunders, boy.
What do them? I mean, I know what them thinking. What's up? What's up? It's so good to be in the inside of the playlist. Finally with Glenroy on the inside.
Finally, you know, yeah, so long I said James.
Myself comfortable already on the big couch here, eat a roti outside, you know.
Yeah. Now, mind you, the invitation that we got James here is like we had us to start with food, and we said James,
most definitely.
They have food, curry to be exact, right? It's before I finish playlist, he said, "Yeah, I
am here, most live and present. Once food is around, I am in the midst."
So you know, James, basically you're Tobagonian now, you know. You always in Tobago, right? A lot of people don't know that, you know.
Well, actually, I'm living on the end. You know, it's Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm living on the end, so I could either go across. One porch is in Tobago, one porch is in Trinidad, you know.
It depends on where you lean one day, so you know, I'm gonna see
whichever breeze blow, you know. Yeah. That's the direction I'm gonna be heading.
That is the spirit, man. You don't wait on special occasions to come. You pop in here whenever you want.
Yeah, man, and you've got roti like that, of course. Whoever made that roti, I tell you, they could be put in house anytime. If they're not in house already.
Take your time, you know. You might get yourself in trouble. I ain't sure where you get a roti from, but I know you have some kind of strings attached somewhere there. But James, again, welcome, man. Welcome to the place. You know, a lot of people, our listenership seems to span not only Tobago, it spans Trinidad. We touch base in Jamaica, and a lot of people may have heard of you. And a lot of people may have heard of you in different aspects of life. But why not tell us a bit about James Saunders? Who is James Saunders?
You want it in song or you want it in... What you want it?
Well, drop it in song on the rhythm.
In case you never heard of me, this is me, God's prodigy, coming to your life on the playlist. We say sorry, but reality, give you a little piece of history. How God took this lump of clay, turn it to fine pottery. From the age of 6, see me get the urge inside of me. Forget water, baptize and fi pick up ministry. Never heard of me, just like Jesus, Moses tried to murder me. But me tribulation fi further me. Spiritually, people say me young, that me wouldn't last, that me play the fool, and me spinning top in the grass. Never came to pass, just a fallacy by the enemy, so me wouldn't fulfill my destiny inside of me. Must admit it never was easy. Many times me fall upon me back while people tease me, but me learn to walk every day. I'm getting stronger, cause I know I'll win the prize. Just hold on a little longer. What
do them? That's the man, Mr. James Saunders. In musical form, that's your biography, right?
Yeah, musical form and fashion. You know, just a little hint, you know, some of the things that I've been through, you know, it's a testimony kind of style.
Nice. James, I've known you a while now, and I've known you in the media more so and early up, and then I know you as a musical minister. Right.
Well, actually, it's the other way around, you know. I actually started
music,
off in music, but a lot of people knew me when I started radio. I started off doing gospel radio, I-95.5. Then I moved on to television. You know, I had some stints with Acts 25.
Right.
I remember that. I had stints at TV6. Waka Waka, everybody seems to remember that part.
But as I say Waka Waka, imagine, you know, I realized my boy was in Tobago yesterday. You know, that's how it is both up now. Sometimes he calls and say I'm in Tobago, right? Sometimes. I ain't got game wrong. But then sometimes it's like you almost bunks him down crossing the road. It's like, but that's James? I said, James, mom? I said, yeah, I hear. I was like, alright. He comes up for a football match, right? So, game, unfortunate circumstances, the game was put on pause, actually postponed at some minutes of play. And James walking back to us now, you know, my wife, Lynette, all of us, you know, standing in the sidelines liming because, you know, it's a football thing. We love football now. So James walking back, before James could come back, which would have walked to us in a like, it wouldn't be a minute self. He had to stop like 6 times, thereabout. Mr. Waka Waka, let me get a photograph with you now. You know, I don't like make out scene, I wear shame face, I shame for people, right? So I started to melt, because I melt away and hide, because it's Mr. Waka Waka. They didn't say James, you know. But, I mean, tell us about that stint in that whole time.
Waka Waka basically started, was the World Cup time, you know. Waka Waka was one of the phrases that they use in the World Cup. It simply means to shine.
Right.
You know, and we thought it was appropriate, you know, to use that terminology to shine in our programming. Of course, we were highlighting Africa, highlighting the World Cup.
Right.
And basically what I did, I was a World Cup presenter, you know, analyzing the games before, after, and that Waka Waka seemed to have taken off. So it's almost like branding. You hear something so much that it becomes who you are. And literally for me, because from young babies to, well, not babies that could talk at least. To grandmothers, you know, they would call me Waka Waka still. You know, they mightn't remember my real name, but they remember Waka Waka. You know, so that's where the branding came from.
So in essence, you had a moment not only shine as a journalist, but you have an opportunity now to tell them about Jesus Christ.
Well, most definitely, you know, any elevation that you receive, you know, it's being elevated upon Christ, you know.
Right.
If you being a Christian, you know, any elevation, you're riding upon his elevation because he carries you to whatever position that you reach in life. So it's not about you, no matter how high or how elevated you get, you know, that position should always be used to lift Jesus higher. Because if you have Jesus at your forefront, the higher that you go, the higher he will be, because he's ahead of you. You understand? So basically that's it, you know. You're in a position of influence in some regions where people look up to you. This is the moment where you've got to demonstrate Christ. So when they look at you, they should be seeing Christ, and in that way you evangelize in that sort of sense. But
that's so good that you had a moment to really use that to his benefit. Tell us a bit after leaving TV6, I will call the name, into another network, which would be C News.
C News.
Tell us about your experience at C News, because the reason why some people might be wondering, I need to ask about your journalistic experience, and that may even help us here at Channel Alt, and even those who are looking to go into the field of journalism.
Well, the biggest question seems to be, when I meet a lot of people these days, why you leave? Or what made you leave, you know? Some people ask, is it the money? Did they ill-treat you? What, do you think it's time to move on? Well, basically, after the Waka Waka show, speaking about Waka Waka, that they called me from CAB. I got a phone call saying, hey, we'd like to invite you to become our sport anchor. Now, I was taken aback. I thought it was a joke at first. You know, because, you know, somebody to call you on the phone and said, yes, you know, we wanted to be our sport anchor, you know. I wasn't really thinking along that veins at the point in time. Right. And so I received the invitation, I accepted it. A bit skeptical, you know, I prayed about it, and, you know, and
important.
God seemed to say, okay, this is the movement that you're making, and I actually kind of stepped out into the dark. I flung my net on the blind side. And so far, that's worked out good so far, you know, that experience, you know, actually being at the forefront of sport broadcasting. This is something that I love to do. I live sport. Yeah. You know, and being at the forefront where you could broadcast it and bring it to the people on a one-to-one on a personal level, it's something I really have enjoyed so far and enjoyed doing, and it has, I thank Caribbean New Media Group for giving me that opportunity to do so. Yeah, well, because I have a couple of friends who work with you there who were working in media for a couple of years, and it seems to be a really worthwhile transition in terms of professionalism. And as interesting enough as you mentioned sport, I think you're probably revered as one of the best sports anchors in Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time. That has me blushing. I didn't know that.
No, yeah, along with Joel Delafana. I mean, you're revered as one of the. Well,
I must thank Joel Delafana though, because he gave me the first opportunity across at TV6. You know, he taught me a lot of what I know today. You know, I can't take any credit and say, well, it's just Joel. You know, we're like a team. You know, despite being on competing frequencies, you know. He brought me across. He worked at I-95 as well.
Oh, yes,
and when he got the opportunity to go across.
I think early up, I remember when he was at
I-95. And when he got the opportunity to go across, he invited me to come along with him, you know. And so far, it has seemed to... We have a way of making sport personal, you know. Yeah. Sport is something all about passion, you know. Without passion, there's no game. You know, game can't go on without passion. And he translates that sort of passion into what he does in his presenting and his bringing across, because as reporters or as presenters, our job is to bring across the sport as it is to people that may not have had the opportunity to be there. Right. So if we don't translate the passion of the game as presenters ourselves, then we have failed. You know, so we have successfully, and I think we have done it successfully so far. Been able to translate, you know, our individual passion with the passion of the game, so that people at home looking on could actually feel the moment, feel almost as if they were there at the moment when the activity was taking place. As
you mentioned, sport and passion, I know you've played football professionally.
Yes, that's right. I played as a goalkeeper, in fact. You know, even though you see me these days trying to be a striker and I'm gonna think,
you played at a goalkeeper at what level though?
Professionally.
The
I
Pro
played
League?
Yes, I started at Arima Fire,
Right.
with Doc Wallace. I played with Star Wars Strikers. I even had little stints with San Juan Jablets and
You had any national experience in terms of representing Trinidad and Tobago?
I haven't played nationally,
Right.
but I have trained with the national team. You know,
Okay.
I've been invited to train with the national team at various points. You know, but I never made that step towards actually getting a first cap. You know,
With the
for
national team. Well, let's go back to music. Talk about what is. James Saunders as the music minister. You've been around for years. You've ministered along some of the greatest names out of Trinidad and Tobago and even internationally. And we don't want to dwell too much on that. What does the year 2012 have in store for James Saunders, the music minister?
Well, 2012, most likely what you're going to be seeing, you're going to be getting a full-length album from James Saunders for 2012. If all comes to pass. A lot of people have been asking me, James, you're out so long. When are we going to get that album? We're hearing singles, but we have never really gotten an album. But I've already started some projects already. Okay. You're also going to be hearing a lot of compilations. The one with Elect being the very first to jump out for 2012. Just before 2012 as well. Yeah. 2011, I released one with Trevor G. There's even going to be a James Saunders rock combination. I'm not going to say too much about that just yet. You know, you just have to wait to find out. And a lot more collaborations taking place. Also, you're going to be seeing some videos as well, because I personally am starting my video production company. And my video is going to be one of the first that I'm going to use to launch it. Great. So you're going to be seeing a couple of videos. I know a lot of people may have heard the song Streets of Gold that I did with Samantha McClatchy. That's going to be our first video project, but we've got some more coming out as well behind that. So it's going to be a year when I'm going to be taking music to another level. Okay. I've been in the game long enough, and you know, it's time I've sat back, I've worked with some other artists, I've focused on the media and so many other things. But this year, I really want to put music to the forefront of everything that I do, because a lot of people don't know what music is. It's my passion. I live music, you know.
I was to ask you for the benefit of all viewers and listeners, where you hail from in Trinidad though?
United States of Moruga.
All right.
One of the best places in Trinidad. I call it United because it's so many different villages.
Okay.
You know, that makes up Moruga. If you're not sure where Moruga is, as I always tell everybody, you take a ruler, you put it straight down the center of Trinidad. When you reach the bottom, you stop, and you're in Moruga. In Moruga. It's not that difficult to find. It's a beautiful place.
All right, James. Anything last words you wanna share with us here, all the listeners on the playlist before you leave?
But the man make it sound like I was gonna die or something.
I also coined it up. I find I was going down a kind of stretch now, so I said, nah, boy, that's something kind of dark there. So before you leave the studio, thanks, James.
Well, I'd like to firstly thank you guys for having me on the inside. I'd like to thank everybody who's locked on and keep on supporting this program. You know, nowhere else you get this amount of gospel music and the highlighting of so many artists that you may not see in the mainstream. And of course, you guys are doing a fantastic job where that is concerned, highlighting some of the underground artists that's coming out of Trinidad and Tobago. So people keep supporting this program. If you can financially as well, you know, help the brothers out, man. When I'm to eat, you know, because that kind of routine, I think that they're making and things.
You gotta support that routine
system. Yeah, you have to sustain sustenance.
I mean, I can't really make roti to you know, sell and things. So, I mean, yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. It is a pleasure being inside on the playlist with Glenroy, rest of the crew.
So
yeah.
So on the rhythm, before you go, you know, you gotta jump on the rhythm again and leave with something, right?
All right. Mister, you cool boy for be a Christian. Now be no fool and go follow next man. Fi turn me back on Christ, that out a question. Fi say that me love him, that not make me less. Me say jewelries, Mercedes, man with them philosophies. Coulda never make me switch from God, condone them policies, wannabes, losing them integrities. For some cheap old wages that are blow way faster than a sneeze. Got no identities, glory in them amenities. For them position, them have be sell of them virginities. Value self-worth, man them all inclusive in these. Man I'm more than conqueror, so we not mix up in a these. Me say yet cool boy fi be a Christian. I be no fool and go Well, enough of them all high. Funny guy, take them drugs and get high. When them die, think them still a go heaven. Well, enough of funny kids, idol hate in them heart, them got hate, yo. No, that are not a God. Hey, enough of them all high. Funny guy, take them drugs and get high. When them die, think them still a go heaven. Well, enough of funny kids, idol hate in them heart, them got hate, yo. Well, that are not a God trait. Well, open up your eyes, people, and see clearly. Enough take a peek, but them still a see barely. Say them love God, but them follow him so rarely. When them in a jam, say them not get deal fairly. Two roles in a life, them a call good and evil. Careful God, they must if you out like weevil. Easier for the camel, but you eye of a needle. Not for enter heaven, one drop a sin seedle. Well, enough of them a lie. For the guy, take them drugs and get high. When them die, think them still a go heaven. Well, enough of funny kids, I don't hate in them heart, them got hate, yo. Well, that are not a God trait. Well, enough of them a lie. Funny guy, take them drugs and get high. When them die, think them still a go heaven. Well, enough of funny kids, I don't hate in them heart, them got hate, yo. Well, that are not a God trait. Yeah, what do them?
The man James Saunders, we thank you again for dropping in the studio, man. Really appreciate it. We anticipating the release of the album real soon, man.
Yeah, man, soon come, as Jamaicans say. Soon come.
Soon come.
Soon come.